Lights, camera, action.
All right, so the migration to Americas, we already talked about this. The reason we're talking about it again is because many people have hit me up online saying they don't understand writing the essay part of it, which is really frustrating because you have all written essays for me last year.
Wait, we have?
You guys weren't here. Yes.
Yes.
Every Friday when we did a debate,
It was an essay.
it was an essay.
The claim.
Very simple. I'm not looking
Evidence.
for all kinds of huge expository sentences and stuff like that, but just your claim, your reason, and your evidence, right? But we're going to go over this real quick to jog your memory because we're going to talk about essays today. Yeah. All right, so the migration to Americas, there's a couple of different ways the first nations, the first peoples are thought to have gotten here. We're going to talk about land bridge theory. There's this theory that a couple thousand years ago, a couple tens of thousands of years ago, up in the Bering Strait, between the Arctic Sea and the Pacific Ocean, when the glaciers covered North America, that water dried up and it was land. And it was huge. It was about the size of Alaska all the way into Siberia. Siberia is the east coast of Russia. Yes.
Wait, do all the major oceans connect into one spot?
Yes, but we're not talking about earth sciences here.
Okay.
So the thought is that Asiatic peoples migrated across Thuringia into North America. This is also called the Clovis First theory, Clovis First hypothesis. These are the Clovis points here, and they have a technological evolution in these flutes so that you can more easily fit a handle inside them. Like spear points or axe tips. What?
They look like
very smart.
boats.
But it also makes it more brittle. So they got to have some kind of advantage, such as lighter, easier to throw, something like that, because it makes that rock more brittle. All right, the Beringia standstill. This is based on genetic evidence. What scientists believe, geneticists believe, is this Beringia up here. This is Alaska. Remember, this is Florida. Alaska's way up here. Beringia is all dried up. Asiatic peoples moved into the region about 30,000 years ago, and they got stopped by the massive glaciers that were covering North America. They couldn't proceed any further. So they just got, because of the ice. So they just got blocked up there for about 15,000 years before they could move in. However, about 18,500 years ago, down here in Mesa Verde, Chile, way down here in the southern tip of South America, there is a settlement. Archaeological evidence shows a settlement down there. So another hypothesis is some Asiatic peoples bypassed those giant continental glaciers by following this kelp highway down the coast, all the way from Asia, all the way down the coast into South America. What's kelp?
Seaweed?
Seaweed, very good.
It's a type of plant that animals eat.
Yes, it's the type of plant that animals eat, such as mollusks and what
turtles.
follows mollusks. Otters,
Otters,
what follows otters,
seals.
what follows seals, humans.
And what follows humans? Sharks.
Sharks, always the sharks.
Sharks.
Right off
Also,
the
off the coast of California, there are called barrier islands. And in these barrier islands, they've never been connected to the mainland, ever. There
Are
is
they still
archaeological
there?
evidence that predates those earlier Clovis peoples.
Are they
on those
still
islands.
there?
And modern native tribes have origin myths. Remember, myths is the grand telling of how we get here, right? The origin myth that they came from the sea, they came from islands on the sea. But there's no more islands here until you get way out here in Hawaii.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are they still there?
Islands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Otherwise, the archaeologists couldn't. I mean, underwater archaeology is a big thing here in Florida, but it's not that big of a thing everywhere else. It's really hard to do because the seafloor is constantly shifting. So it's a difficult thing to do.
You have to get to where the waters are calm.
All right, so this is the Solutrean hypothesis. The Solutreans were Paleolithic people, really Neolithic people in Europe. This is Spain right here. This is the Iberian Peninsula. This is Italy. It's kind of tipped sideways for you there. The Solutrean hypothesis is that these Solutrean peoples, they got in some boats and they crossed across the Atlantic along the ice floes, just like modern Inuits do up in Alaska. They crossed on these ice floes in these little boats, eating oryx. Told you we talked about penguins. Oryx are from the genus penguin, and penguins in Antarctica only look like them. They're not actually penguins. Anyway.
So the penguins are not penguins?
Anyway, you see these tips here, these Solutrean tips, these Solutrean points. These are found in the Carolinas. And they predate, by some 10,000 years, the Clovis points that are found in the mainland. Right? You can see these don't have that flute on the bottom.
Yeah.
So the Clovis is not only later, meaning closer to us in time, but they also represent a technological advancement.
Ruler.
Yeah, Riddler. All right, so any questions on that?
Is that the river that Jim Carrey played as?
So like I said, I was just going real quick to kind of jog your memory.
That took shorter than I thought it would.
Yeah, because I'm just going real quick and I'm not explaining a whole lot because we already went over it. Now, I'm going to give this assignment. Is this it? Yeah. Read, do,
What?
write an essay, right? I give this assignment. Choose a hypothesis you think is most likely to explain the first peoples to arrive in North America. Conduct a little more research into your hypothesis on your own. Write an essay arguing in favor of your topic. Upload the essay in CSAW. Great, right? We're going to work on this today. Yeah. Huh? We got time. So we're going to work on this in class today. Remember, for me, an argumentative essay only has 3 parts. It's just for me, right? Because remember, I'm not your writing coach. I just care about your thoughts. I don't care how well you throw those onto a paper. But I want you to be able to take your thoughts and give them back to me. So for me, an argumentative essay only has 3 parts: a claim, a reason, and evidence.
Of the thesis.
And then I give you this crazy thing. I'm telling you, people online are freaking out over this. This is
Yeah,
your template.
I was frustrated.
Right. Not, so this, you can see up here, is the same thing as those 3 parts. This gives you a little more room. So your introduction, that's your thesis statement. That's your claim. That's it. I believe the first peoples came straight over the North Pole. That's nothing we talk about, right? Nothing at all that we talk about. But you could say that. However, with that claim, you have to give a reason. I believe that because it's the straightest line from point A to B. Okay, do you have any evidence? And if you don't have any evidence to back that up, because there's no archaeological evidence, right? There's no paleontological evidence. There's no genetic evidence showing that. So now you're kind of at a standstill with your thesis. So then you're going to have to go back to your claim and figure that out again.
You came from.
However, I gave you 3 possible routes, right? Across the land bridge, over the coastal, and from Europe. 3 possible routes.
You came from.
So-
Japan.
Pick one, and that's your thesis statement. Which one do you think happened?
Oh, I thought,
Look
oh,
how
my
third.
answer would have been the migration to America.
From where?
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
All right, think of which place or which route did they take?
The seaweed plain.
All right, write that down.
Let's see. Which
The Kelp Highway, right there.
Topic.
Yeah, introduction, write a thesis statement.
Kelp Garden.
No, your thesis statement would be the Kelp Highway.
Kelp Highway. Kelp. I'm gonna call it the Kelp Garden. The Kelp Garden
That's not what
Highway.
it's called.
The Kelp Garden Highway.
All right, and now we're gonna turn off the recording.
So it's the Kelp Highway, basically.
Yes, the Kelp Highway.
So the introduction goes,